Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core 4 Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
Ever said in my life. Hello, people. Happy Wednesday to you all, guys. I'm not going to be able to keep a straight face this whole time. We have a good one for you today, but like always, please subscribe to this podcast, whether you want to watch us on YouTube or listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, all the major apps. There's a subscribe button. If you could please press it and share it with your friends, with your family. The more subscribers we get, the more we bump up the charts, the more it helps us grow, the more people we can help. So if you can do your 2 cents of good for the day and just hit the subscribe button, we will greatly appreciate it. And you got your good deed done for the day. Now today, we're going to talk to you about a little bit. I know last week we kind of dabbled in or touched on the fact to enjoy what you're doing and do the things that you love, whether it's exercise or playing sports, and kind of always finding the enjoyment or like the playfulness in exercise or taking care of yourself. Today we're going to touch on that a little bit more and why things begin to kind of lose that shiny new object feel. And for some of us, we just kicked off a big 6-week challenge in the gym. I've touched on this before, but September, kids are back in school. Parents kind of can fall back into a routine again. And they're like, okay, it's time to get myself back in shape, or I'm going to join a challenge, or I really want to get honed in and do this thing or complete this goal. But then all of a sudden, 3 months, 6 months down the line, and there's nothing wrong with you if this sounds like you, that new kind of big surge that we have begins to dissipate. And we're like, okay, now this has just kind of become part of my life. It's become like brushing my teeth, drinking water, going to get gas. It's just something I do. And kind of that enjoyment or that initial, oh, this is the big fun thing starts to go away. And today we're going to tell you how to kind of tap back into that, to always make things fun, exciting, keep them fun, exciting. So when you have kind of these ups and downs over the course of a year, over the course of your life, you can always kind of revert back to kind of this 1-2 punch to keep you going.
The biggest tell for me is always when we do this challenge. You mentioned our 6-week challenge, and all of a sudden, so many people are just adhering to, in some cases, a very, very strict way of living. All of a sudden, day one of the challenge, they're getting 10,000 steps, they're getting all this water in, they're only eating a very clean diet, they're counting calories, they're eating their protein. And it's always like, well, I mean, I've been telling you to do this for 24 months, as long as I've known you. What's different now? And it's this thing. It's a challenge, it's a task, and there's a finite time. You go, okay, 6 weeks, I'm going to kill it, I'm going to go all in. But what's so interesting, and if you're someone who's partaken in this challenge, or you can relate it to anything you have done, when you're in that time, your mindset shifts. You're not thinking about, oh, this is something I have to do today. You're thinking about, hey, I signed up for this. This is what I'm doing. And all it is kind of that shift in the forefront of your mind. And when you actually dumb it down and think, wow, if I just kept that focus year round, obviously good times, bad times, vacations, whatever, but year round, I kept like this switch engaged. I can do that with whatever I want. I can prioritize whatever I want, whenever I want. And it all happens intrinsically, which is fascinating. So somebody who is constantly in the yo-yo, they join a gym, they leave a gym, they work out hard for 2 months, then they let themselves go and gain 20 pounds. It's a cycle that I've seen so many times, a cycle that I've felt so many times. I'm sure you have too. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. And adjusting that mindset to really clicking in on keeping it fun is the answer to lifestyle. You know, I get asked all the time, and we talk about this all the time. It's the whole point we have this podcast. Lifestyle, building a lifestyle. I don't want you to just do a challenge and then, yeah, you had a great 6 weeks. You lost 15 pounds. You loved the way you looked and felt. Now I don't care what happens. No, that's not the business I'm in. It's not the business you're in. It's not what we want to do. We run these challenges because they're awesome ways to kick you in gear, educate you, learn how to do the stuff that you can carry on throughout your life. It's not to just forget 6 weeks later, and then just revert to whatever, gaining weight, then your knees hurt again, and all the stuff that you've unlocked, having to go back to it. But I just find it interesting, that mind shift. And sometimes you need to almost not take a break, but you almost need to step back and go, oh, I've put this in a negative place in my mind. I've put the gym in a daily task that I don't want to do.
It's like doing laundry, doing
right.
And you go through those like ebbs and flows where you have a crazy week and you're probably like, the last thing I want to do is go to the gym right now.
Yeah.
But you're like, damn it, I got to do it.
Or something more, physical. You're sick. Yeah, it's harder to go. You're not sleeping well. I have a sick baby. I was up all night last night. Yeah, I don't feel the best. I don't feel like working out today. There are things.
But I think, like you said, to kind of throw it back in like the sports idea, I think the reason why, like for us playing hockey is enjoyable is because you have a distinct time frame. You have 3 periods that you go, I got period 1, period 2, period 3, and the objective is to score more goals than the other team or as many goals as we possibly can. So at the end of this, we win. And if I can do that for the season length, eventually kind of will be crowned the champion. And with challenges or setting goals for yourself, it's kind of the same idea where you're like, whether it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, it's that same idea where you're like, okay, I have a time frame, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I'm going to really dial this in. I'm going to try to push myself to the best of my ability that I can do to get in the best shape possible. And when it's all said and done, just like with our season, we take a break for a couple weeks. You kind of just let the dust settle. And then you're like, okay, I can get back into this again. And I touched on this at our challenge orientation, and I've said it on the podcast before, but I think people, in terms of motivation, think that people that are in shape are just motivated all year round. And it doesn't work like that. You get peaks where you feel great for a week or a couple days, and then you have a couple off weeks or a couple down days, and then it spikes back up. But underneath that, if you can go, okay, I still have to do the things that I'm doing to keep it going. And then all of a sudden, when an opportunity comes up where you go, hey, I'm going to go pedal to the metal for this. I'm going to really try to hone in for 6 weeks and see how I do. All of a sudden, it kind of brings that fun or almost that like competitive aspect back out of it that you're like, okay, let's put the pedal to the metal. I started doing the challenge with everybody yesterday, just with food and like portion sizes and all that stuff, just so I could kind of get like honed in on everything and just kind of see how I feel and if there's any tweaks that I can do. But even after a day, it's amazing at just what giving yourself a goal and an objective does internally. Not that I eat like crap over the course of a week, but like if the kids are having, their lunch, I might sneak, a bite of an Oreo. Or I might take a handful of goldfish or something like that. Right. And you're going to the gym. The rest of your diet's really good. But it's crazy when you start something just after a day, how you're just like, no, I'm not doing that. Here's my goal. I got 6 weeks. I'm going to see how good I can do. And it kind of makes it fun for yourself again.
And I think that is the most important thing is like what you said is making it fun. Like when we said this, I think I said exactly this is, if I said, okay, every Sunday night at 8:00 at night, you have to go burn 600 calories, you'd be like, no, I don't. And you are somebody who likes moving your body and likes fitness and have some type of an enjoyment for it. But you'd be like, no, Sunday night? Are you kidding? Absolutely not. Probably not Sunday at all, but if anything, Sunday morning. And I go, well, why don't you go play hockey? You go, absolutely, I will prioritize that. And so every day, every Sunday, that's what you do. You leave your house in the winter.
You get to,
but in the winter, it's freezing cold. You don't necessarily want to do it all the time, but you do. The overwhelming want trumps everything else, and so obviously that is your hobby. That is something you enjoy doing. But if I was just saying, go to the gym and make sure you get that workout in, you would be way more inclined to skip it and not prioritize it and not do it at all, as would anybody. It just so happens that your biggest hobby, I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, is skating, hockey. You love going out and playing. That's your favorite thing to do. So it's fun to you. And that fun thing with fitness can be obtained. And in fact, it does often at the gym and like in our group, uh, whatever facility where everything's done in a group with people and you're kind of come to a routine. You come to the same class every day. Most people do. And you meet the same people and you know the same people. That is what becomes the overwhelming focus and fun and not what you're doing. And there's many times when people see the workout, we make a reel, we make something, or we talk about it, somebody posts about it, and it kind of scares them. Oh, today was hard, today was a lot of this, today was a lot of that, all stuff they don't want to do, and they still show up to the workout, and it almost makes it more fun because you go, oh, well, everyone did this. I'm not going to not talk about it all week, and it makes it just not a drag. And that's basically the best way to put it. And then when you that
You feel
is
like you're missing out, kind of.
yeah, and
FOMO.
that is an intrinsic thought. And what's so interesting is there are, you could say, Evan, there's a lot of people that get in great shape in their basement. There's a lot of people that get in great shape, at like a big box gym. And it's like, yeah, absolutely. Those people have a ton of discipline, or they enjoy it. And 9 times out of 10, most people get in like really, really good shape in those big box gyms when they kind of create their own community. When you go in and then you meet a guy, you see him, you spot him on the bench, and then all of a
There's
sudden you
always
go,
the
oh,
same 5 o'clock
you're right.
people
You
after
go, oh,
work, or the same 9:30 people.
yeah. And you go, oh, you're here every Thursday night or whatever. I'll spot you bench. We actually bench pretty similar. I'm going to try to do this next week. And then you create the same thing without even knowing that it's the same thing. So atmosphere and all of that, I think, does not get enough credit. And so if you're somebody who's burnt out in the routine, I think it's important to take a step back, readjust, and reframe. Go, what was fun, what isn't fun now, what didn't, what changed, what this, what that, what isn't, um, and give yourself the benefit of the doubt to go, I'm not just gonna forget about this for 2 months. I'm gonna make this fun again. I'm gonna get after it. I'm gonna find this passion and purpose that I definitely had, because I came to the gym every day for 6 weeks. I lost 15 pounds, whatever. What was it? What put that carrot out in front of me that every day I was able to prioritize it? And why did it shift? Why did it change? What happened? And can I control it? And the answer is yes. You could do a 6 week challenge. Like this is a great example. You did your water fast. That's something that's very hard to do and not fun. But when you
But it
were
was
in,
just like, I want to see if I can do this. This is
you,
different. This is new.
it was what you were doing. You were focused
Worst
on it.
case,
You were telling people about it. People were asking you about it, and that propelled the fun. If
yeah.
you did it in silence and didn't really care if you accomplished it, if you didn't really tell anybody about it, if no one was interested in it or talked to you, it would be totally different. But if you are, actively focused on and chasing, it's fun. And I also said this last podcast, is we really are like very simple creatures. I said we're goldfish. Like we're just like, you can be tricked into having a good time. This is why when you go out, you don't want to go out. And then once you get there, you're always happy you
This
went.
was great. We
You're
should do
all
this more often.
We do it all the time. So like, what's going on? And it's the same thing going to the gym. It's the same thing going to work. It's the same thing going to do anything you don't want. The dentist, you're always like, I don't want to go to the dentist. Who wants to go to the dentist? Then walking out, you're like, wow,
I'm glad I went.
I got a good cleaning. I'm set myself up for the next couple months or whatever, and I'm glad I went. Doctor, same thing. So it's switching the mind frame to just not dreading, really. not linking it in with bad.
I think people just get very complacent with the status quo, that where they go, okay, this was fun, this was exciting, this was the new shiny thing, I'm going to get in shape. And then some months go by, and then they're like, okay, now this has become just something I do, which is okay. We always have those ebbs and flows, but trying those things to kind of make it fun and exciting again, whether it's a challenge, whether it's a water fast, whether you're going to try to really hone in on your nutrition, or you want to train for a 5K or a marathon, those things, that's kind of like uncharted waters that you're like, I haven't done this before. It might be a little bit scary. It might be a little bit nerve-wracking, but I know even if I mess up in this 3 days or this month or this challenge or training for this marathon, I'm going to be better for it because it's something exciting that I do. But a lot of people don't do that. They see it as like almost like the daunting task that they have to complete. And you're like, if you just keep doing the same thing that you're doing for anything, eventually it just kind of becomes your norm.
Yeah.
And that excitement isn't there anymore. Like you said, with the hockey thing, the first week is always exciting, get to see everybody, but then we get to the winter time and we're like, there's a Lions game on. Do I really want to go? Do I want to go skate? But then you do it, and then you're like, oh, I'm so happy that I went. It was great to see everybody again. But when you can kind of have in the back of your mind, okay, what's something I can do to kind of spruce things up, whether it be, for lack of a better word, competitive, to compete with myself, to go, okay, this is your mission for the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks. I'm going to focus on this. I want to lose 5 pounds. I'm going to focus on my nutrition. My workouts are going to stay the same, but I'm going to try to hammer in these steps. I'm going to try to get in my water. There's a chick that comes to the gym, Dom. She hit like a streak. I think it was over a month that every single day she just started, and she was like, I'm going to try to hit 10,000 steps a day and not break the streak. And she's done it for over a month now.
Wow.
So now whenever she comes in, she'll go for like a walk outside before we start, or just come in and start like doing some laps around the gym. But she's like, I hope I'm not bugging you. And I'm like, no, if you just want to do your thing to get some steps in, I'm like, by all power to you. But stuff like that, guys, that normally you wouldn't necessarily push yourself, but then eventually that becomes your new norm again. You're like, okay, now I get in 10,000 steps a day. I hit my workouts like I should. Maybe you add in trying to get rid of, sugar from your diet, or every day I'm going to hit my water goal now. And then eventually it's always fun, exciting, because you always are chasing this thing that You're like, okay, I got to grab it. Okay, I beat that, almost like a video game. I beat that level. Let's go to the next level. Okay, I'm going to try to do this. I beat that level. Let's go to the next level. And you keep kind of building yourself up rather than just staying stuck at level 1. And you're like, yeah, the game's fun, but it got kind of hard, and I ended up just quit playing it.
Yeah, and I think it's, again, this is bleeding into other podcasts that we've had. I think that's where focusing on more than one thing in the gym is so important. If you go every single day to the gym to be in a caloric deficit to lose weight, eventually you're going to lose weight, and then there's going to be days when you're not, and weeks when you're not, or months when you're not, and then it becomes less fun. But if you still go to the gym every day and you're focusing on how much you can bench press, there's always something to fun at the gym. You're going, okay, I'm going to do this. Or, in our setting, 30 seconds of push-ups. I want to be able to do good, legit push-ups from my toes for 30 seconds. Okay, well, that's hard to do. That's going to take months of training and practice and focus to do. And then when you get it, you got to maintain it. You got to keep it. And then you want 45 seconds, and then you want a minute, whatever your jam is. I think those non-scale victories are so important to focus on, and important, and just being in better shape. Like, I just want to be in better shape. I want to go on vacation. We have a vacation coming up, and I know we're going to do some hiking. I don't want to be slowing down my family. I don't want to do it. Every day when I wake up, am I thinking about that vacation as motivation? No. Maybe not. But when I'm in the gym, there's something to work towards. When I'm getting my butt kicked in the gym and it's a hard workout and I'm breathing heavy and I'm sweating and I'm sore, I know I'm there for a good reason. I'm not just wasting my time. I'm not in here going, oh, the scale's not moving. I'm still gonna eat like crap. Well, yeah, well, maybe you did string together a month of a horrible diet, but you still were in the gym killing yourself every day. The scale might not have moved, but guess what? When it comes time for that vacation, your cardiovascular is still going to be in great shape. You're not going to slow anybody down. Your muscles are going to be primed. Your legs are going to feel good. So there's often different avenues that we can think of. And we did a 5K on Sunday, a bunch of gym members from Wixom. And it was fun, but my mother-in-law came and she was talking to this lady who was working the event that she knew. And she just like lit up about running. She was like, "How'd your race go? Blah, 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 blah." And it just like, I could see how much this chick loved these runs. And she was there. It's a Sunday night. It's raining. The first day it rained in 3 weeks here, right when the 5K is going on, of course. And she's, "Bye, buddy." And she's got this vest on and she's working. She's just, whatever it's called, volunteering. "All right, buddy." And I'm like, man, she just loves to be here. Somebody asked, "Hey, you want to do it?" And she's like, "Yeah, I love being in this running." And she's asking, and then she's like, "I have my run." And I was like, yeah, she's not focused on her weight or how her, body looks or how her thing. She just loves running, and she's a competitive athlete with running. Is she in the Olympics? No, but she might as well be because she's doing it every single day. And we can get there with our fitness and what we're doing, and we can go, yeah, I want to box jump, I want to burpees, I want to hike, I want to run, I want to swim, I want to, we are able to do it and to prioritize it. And what's so important is finding, whether it's coaching, whether it's people, whether it's similarities, whether it's a gym, finding where there's somebody on the same wavelength as you, or being susceptible to learning it and coaching and going, yeah, I might be 45 years old and picking up this fitness thing. I might not really think I care about squat form, but maybe I really do. Maybe I care about, mobility, this and that, and blah, 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 all the nerdy stuff that I care about, I think's cool. And yeah, it's just the life hack to keep yourself motivated and fun and not bored. Because when we're bored, we stop.
I think with a lot of people too, like when they want to do whatever this is to kind of get that spark again or take care of themselves, or you're going to add some new objective, it's very easy for people to look down the road and be like, yeah, I want to do this, but like training for a marathon, let's say, but you're like in, the usual, in October we got this and the kids got a field trip on this day, and then I got a birthday party 6 weeks from now, and then a holiday coming up, or it's a birthday, or we're going to go to a Tigers game. Instead of just going, I'm going to do this and I'm going to commit to it and I'll figure out those things as they come. With this challenge, before it started, I have done that before where I look and I'm like, this just isn't a good time. I got too much shit going on. We got the kids. We got to go here. We got all this crap going on. So instead of doing it, I'm like, okay, Monday, I'm starting with everybody. I'm going to piece it together. If there's a day that I'm like, okay, I have this going on a Thursday or a Friday, take those days as they come. But instead of trying to look so far down the line and being like, I'm not going to do this, we've touched on this before, but if let's say a 6-week challenge is 42 days, how great do you think you're going to look if you got 40 of those 42 days rocking? You know what I mean? If 2 of those days are just hiccups or brain farts and you're like, the wheels kind of fell off, I had stuff going on, or we were traveling, cool. But you got 40 kick-ass days. You're going to look completely different at the end of it, rather than having to be like, I'm not going to do this because 98% of it's going to be successful, but only 2% I can't be 100% successful, so I'm not going to try. So not looking so far down the road, committing to something and going, when this moment comes up, then I can figure it out when it gets here. I don't have to figure it out right now. But when that day approaches, as long as I can do the things for, let's say, 3 weeks leading up to it, then 3 weeks after, and who knows, that moment or that day may come that you're like, I figured out how to navigate this, wasn't a big deal at all. I was giving myself a bunch of stress and anxiety for no reason. But that's usually kind of the number one thing that keeps people from trying new things or leveling up or experience something new or really trying to push themselves, like getting the 10,000 steps or focusing on nutrition, is because they look so far down the road and they're like, well, I can't be perfect every single day. And we've said it before in here, perfect with getting in shape is a myth.
It's too
And
much pressure.
it's so much pressure. It exhausts you mentally, it exhausts you physically. But if you can think of it this way, if you can string together, 20, 80% days, that's fantastic. Rather than going 100% for one, 10% for day two, 0% for day three, you feel guilty, back up to 100%. All of a sudden, you're all over the board and there's zero consistency. When you can just go, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tackle it. If I have a couple days to get away from me, it's absolutely not the end of the world. But I know at the end of this, I'm going to be 10 times better because I'm going to stick with it to the best of my ability. And then that builds confidence. Then you're like, okay, I did this. I knocked it out for 6 weeks and I had a wedding, a birthday party, and let's say we were traveling. So I'm good. I know that I can do this now. If I do another 6-week challenge or I do another thing that I want to try to tackle, I have the confidence and kind of the willpower and know that I'm able to complete something rather than just staying stuck where I always am and just being like, yeah, I'll stay here because it's safe, because it's cozy, because this is what I've always done, and never kind of exploring the uncharted waters.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's the old laundry thing. If you think about getting perfect at the gym, it's like thinking about all the laundry you have to do for the rest of your life. It's like if you look at your life that way, you're never gonna be happy or feel in control or feel close to whatever. But if every day, you do the laundry here and there, guess what? One day you're gonna do every set of laundry you ever had to do in your life. Like that is gonna happen one day. We can do the same thing with just staying fit and keeping fit. I wish I had like a clear cut answer on how to keep it fun, because that is the answer for ultimate lifestyle is to enjoy what you're doing. It makes it easier. Like so you would say, how is it easier to go to the gym? Enjoy it. Enjoy the gym. Don't think about when it's over. Think about the time, what you're doing. Even if you're super sore, even if you don't want to do it, go and half-ass a workout, but hang out with your friends, or even when you don't want to hang out with your friends. I'll admit it. There's many a time I'm just not in a social mood. You just don't feel like doing it. Okay, then you just go for you, and maybe you're more quiet that day, but you're still there. Or I don't know. It's staying very present and making sure, and that's the other thing too. And I always relate it to our gym is like you do love it. Like I love it. I love the workouts. You love the workouts. We have X amount of members. They love the workouts. They wouldn't be there if they didn't love the workouts. So it's like it's down there. And sometimes it just gets set on the back burner and you can almost forget that you do enjoy it. And all you got to do is kind of chip away at the stuff that's kind of in the way of it. And that's why like you'll find a random, tell me if you've seen this with gym members, you just have a random person just pop in 6 days a week, boom, 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 here, and they just crushed it. And then you don't see them for 2 weeks. And then they come back in and you're like, well, that was weird. That's as far as efficiency and progress, this probably didn't work that well. But what happened? Because when you were in here, you loved it and it was great what was going on. And it's very obviously a priority thing. And it's not bad. It's not linked in with, I got to do this and I got to do the laundry and I got to drive the kids and do work. But this is something that I do enjoy. I do got to remember that I do enjoy it. And even on days when it's hard, I'm not going to get a root canal. I'm going to do what I like.
Yeah. And I think that's the reminder behind it is like finding something or finding the reason to enjoy it, whether it be you want to be competitive with yourself or you have a goal that you want to accomplish, or you're like, okay, I was kind of lax in the summer. It's time to dial it back in. Setting those goals and setting those kind of time frames with the goals where you're like, I know this isn't going to be forever, but over this next 4, 6, 8 weeks, let's see if I can put the pedal to the metal and see where it takes me. And then it makes it fun again. And like you said, with the hockey thing, how many days are there that you're like, I don't want to go, it's cold, it's rainy. And then you do it, and then you win the game, and you're like, that was awesome. That was exciting. I'm so glad that I went. I want to come back again next week and do the same thing. And it's, then you want to repeat the process over and over, where you're like, okay, I'll sign up for the next challenge. I did so great. I enjoyed pushing myself. I understand it now. Then you want to do the next one. And when you can do that, it kind of always makes it fun, I think, because you're chasing something rather than just having it be something that you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's keeping
And
it.
now, if you guys don't know, we don't have a hockey season.
Yeah. Speaking of something we enjoy that's just taken from us.
Our league has folded a mere 6 days before the drop of the puck.
Allegedly.
So now we have a group of dudes and a bunch of jerseys and socks, and we got to figure out where the heck we're going to play.
It sucks.
A part of me I didn't want to say it, but there was like an inkling of like, we start in a week and we haven't had the schedule. We don't know the team, but it's Ed, so it's always very willy-nilly, last minute, pieced together. I'm like, okay, this is just how the guy rolls.
Yeah.
But you think he would have been like, hey guys, we're a month away from dropping the puck and we only have 2 teams.
I had a feeling.
Just so you know, have a backup plan. I'd love for you guys to stay. We would love to stay. But if it doesn't work out, maybe just have a plan B. Okay, great.
The day Ed communicates like that,
Yeah.
I was frozen over. That's not the guy you want to just be like, have the foresight. Just looking out for you, bucko. I think
know.
that's yeah, that's a bummer. I agree. I had kind of had this feeling. I was actually with my dad on Sunday, and he's like, "What are we playing this Sunday?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't have the best feeling." Because first it was the first weekend of September, and then it's looking like late September. And he goes, "It looks like there's going to be 6 teams." And then it was like, he wants to do a random Monday. And then it was, you guys going to be okay with some Mondays and some Thursdays? And I was like, it's going to be every Monday and every Thursday. I can guarantee it.
Yeah. And then it was no Mondays. Then it was just Sunday and Thursday. And
And I just told my dad, I was like, I don't have a good feeling about this. And then, the next day, Joshy is like, well, we got nothing. So at least we didn't pay a bunch of money and get totally ripped off. That would have been.
I know. That's a good thing. I'm glad at least we can, like, hopefully in the next week or two, like, piecemeal it together and find a spot to play. But
Yeah.
dang it.
I hope so.
Especially, too, after the last time, like, the free game, we was like, just show up. And I'm like, okay, he's got a couple, like, just warm-up skates for us. Obviously, we're in the mix somehow. He's just got to cement the details. But we will see.
It's a weird business.
It's a weird business, the hockey. It's all walks of life.
Over 30 hockey league operator. That's a weird.
Always drama.
Looking for the Netflix documentary coming out.
Could you imagine running the Plymouth 30 and over league?
Yeah.
A documentary of Ed, the most mysterious man in the world.
It's just called For the Love of the Game.
I know. But we'll figure it out. We always do. But what else, peoples? I think that's all we got for you today. So, like I said, hopefully you got some tidbits out of that, guys. If you're stuck in a rut, there's nothing wrong with you. You're normal. It happens to all of us. But when that happens, guys, focus on what's a goal you can accomplish, what's a challenge you can make for yourself. Even if you don't want to do it, sometimes you would be amazed at just what one day of really refocusing does. How good you feel. We touched on the last podcast. You get addicted to that good feeling and that feeling of winning or the feeling of accomplishing something. So if you find that you're just kind of blah, stuck going through the motions, focus on what's a quick, easy win and how can I combine this for days on end. Yeah. Should you need anything, guys, to help you with that along the way, if you need some energy, we have energy gummies. We have pre-workout. We have a fat burner for cardio. It's a thermogenic. All that is great to give you a little boost if you're stuck in a rut, like we said. If you go to core4supplements.com, we have whey protein, we have vegan protein, we have green supplements, pretty much anything you can think under the sun. We got it for you. One more time, core4supplements.com. And best of all, if you're watching or listening to this podcast at home or in the car, when you check out, if you use the coupon code podcast at the checkout, you'll save 10% off your whole order. And if you spend over $100 in the store, you get all shipped to your house for free. So you kind of get the double whammy coupons back to back. You can use the podcast code and you can get free shipping if you spend over $100. So hopefully that steals y'all in the right direction. But that's all I got for you today, peoples. I'm going to upload this baby and make it a great rest of September. This has been the fastest month in the entire world.
Amen.
Literally.
Crazy.
Literally. I'm like, how the hell is it going to be October this time next week? This is the fastest month ever. But 6 more days left, people. Make it count, and we'll see you in October.
Yeah, baby.
Bye.
Go Lions, 14-3 Super Bowl.
Yeah.